Today is News Day in the Philippines. A lot of things to cover, a lot of stories to cover. And I'm also going to try to answer a lot of the questions I get in comments and emails and in person from the various tourists that come to town. Welcome to the Philippines here in Cebu City, and I am walking up Osmeña Boulevard. And ahead of me is Fuente Osmeña Circle, traffic circle, and this whole street is closed for, I think it's been closed for 3 days now. Today, President Bong Bong Marcos is in town to inaugurate what's called the BRT. And I've been reading about the BRT for several years, and it continues to be delayed and delayed and delayed some more. Bus rapid transit. So it's a new improved transportation system, and they're going to set up bus stops along a number of streets, and it's a multi-year project. So we'll see. But anyway, today is the groundbreaking. There again, the groundbreaking has been delayed and so many times over the years. Crown Regency Hotel and Towers here. I think there's 3 towers with a fourth one almost completed, if it's not completed now. Ultima, Club Ultima is part of that, condominium units. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here, closer to the circle. You've got a pedestrian walkway up above, and you've got a few of those around town, which helps. But a lot of people, I think the majority of people still just cross between the vehicles, the traffic. Anyway, you got Robinson's Fuente. Got 2 malls on this big traffic circle: Robinson's Fuente and Robinson's Cybergate. I lived here for over a year before I understood that there were 2 different malls here, and I only went to Fuente was Robinson's Fuente Mall, and other people did videos, and they said they were in Robinson's, and I'm wondering, where is this other Robinson's? Anyway, they're getting this. I was up here, I think, on a Saturday. I walked up here on a Saturday, and they were getting everything set up for all the VIPs, the red chairs over there, for the groundbreaking of BRT inauguration. BRT bus rapid transit, and this building just to the right is Robinson's Fuente. Directly across over there, you probably can't make it out, is Robinson's Cybergate. Robinson's Fuente has a grocery store, it's got a hardware store, it's got a food court, and kind of department stores, kitchen goods, bedroom sheets and pillows, all that sort of thing. And Cybergate does not have a grocery store across the way. Robinson Cybergate does not have a hardware store, grocery store. They do have a number of different restaurants. Vietnamese restaurant over there, a number of other kind of fast food restaurants, number of commercial buildings, other retail type stores, gadget stores. And they got a park. This is a big traffic circle here. And the big park in the center there often has events, such as at the Sinulog Festival, that will all be full of food vendors, other vendors. Christmas, a big Christmas tree there. Anyway, this is the big traffic circle, Robinson's Fuente there. Anyway, I'm on my way. I'm walking over to. Eventually, I'm going to end up at Ayala Mall, and I'll do a real brief video in there as well. And I'm going over there because my computer has been screwing up big time, and I have messed with it, trying to solve the issue. And eventually, after a day and a half, so if you're wondering why I haven't been answering comments and emails, after about a day and a half of tinkering and thinking, geez, I need to take my computer back to ASUS again to get them to figure this out, I started, because I could move my cursor around, but I couldn't get it to, when I'd click on anything, nothing would happen. And I was using arrow keys and enter keys trying to get some things done. And that was a really tedious way to try to get things done. And anyway, I started messing with the finger trackpad, and that was working. So I finally concluded maybe it's my mouse. Maybe my mouse is not working. The software is screwed up in it. So I'm walking over to Ayala to buy a new wireless mouse, and we'll see how that works. And actually, I'm using the new mouse now, and it was my mouse. So about 800 pesos, about 16 US dollars for that wireless mouse. Travel in the Philippines is one of the most often asked questions I get asked about. Got Velez Hospital over there. I'm on Ramos Street. I'll point out a few things along the way. And I'm asked, well, can we just show up? Can I just go to the ferry and get on the ferry and go to Bohol, go to another island? And pretty much you can. And I look forward to comments from people who travel the various islands, the various provinces and cities. Is anybody ever still asked for a vaccination card? Is anybody still required to wear a mask? My experience, observation for the last several months, you've got Cebu City Transportation Office people. They stand there and pull people over and check their documents. There's only been one place in town. It's the building where JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services is, in the FGU building right across from Ayala Mall. And last time I was in there, maybe a month ago, they said, "Oh, you need a mask." So I put my mask on. And but even I was in BPI Bank. BPI Bank has a location there also, I believe. And I was in a BPI Bank, which is where I pay my rent each month. And half of the tellers were not wearing masks. And if you want to sleep, boy, I see these guys laying down on their backs on their motorbikes and taking a nap. I don't know how they can keep from falling off, but I've never seen anybody fall off laying on the ground. For several months now, me and my friends and other acquaintances have told me that ferries from Cebu to Leyte, from here to Bohol, airplane rides from Cebu City to Boracay, and different islands, and airlines over to Bohol, that they were not asked for any documents such as vaccine card, any of that type of thing. Now, if you're flying to the Philippines as an international travel, my understanding is that you still need, if you're unvaccinated, which many of you still are, you still need to get a negative antigen test before you travel, or you can get one when you arrive. The trick being, if you tried to get one when you arrive, if there's a false positive, that's similar to my motorbike, you would be put in quarantine probably for 5 days. In the past, previous year, every 2 weeks, pretty much, twice a month, we would get updates on restrictions and requirements and all that kind of thing. This year, I haven't, from our new administration, Bong Bong Marcos, who is in town, I haven't heard anything new from the Department of Health or from the President's office or the tourist office about dropping all requirements. Most countries in the world have dropped. You don't need a vaccine card. You don't need, I think everybody knows by now, it's come out that the vaccines do not prevent the virus, and they don't prevent you from spreading the virus. Everybody is equally, there are those people who are immunocompromised, who have various health issues that are higher risk of severe, not just this virus, but other viruses as well. If you're immunocompromised, if you're not well, if you're unhealthy, you're more apt to get severe illness, obviously. I did take a ferry trip over to Bohol from Cebu City. I think in public transportation, you're still supposedly required to wear a mask. But the fact of the matter is, I think at the ferry terminals on the ferries, less than half the people were, well, you would put one on to get into the building, but after that, nobody was enforcing anything. And I've heard some of the people who've been flying in on certain flights that, like somebody flew in from Delta the other day, and no masks were required from the U.S. going across the U.S. and over to, I think they flew into Japan, I think, or Hong Kong. But from Hong Kong here, they had in a different airline required masks while they were flying. So it just depends. The thing is, check with your airlines. The airline should have the latest requirements and restrictions. One thing you are required to have, a couple things, if you're going to fly in internationally, you're supposed to have your passport should be good for at least 6 months, and you should have an ongoing or return ticket within the first 30 days. Because when you arrive, most countries receive a visa on arrival. You show your passport, and unless they have some reason to reject you, this guy's trying to sell me Viagra, or no, he's trying to sell me a watch. 3,000 pesos. Well, I don't wear jewelry. I've never, all my life, I've never liked uh, things on that really bothered me. Rings and bracelets and watches. 3,000 pesos. A little on the high end probably for what he was selling. And there's always one or two guys out here trying to sell all kinds of Cialis, Viagra, bunch of other stuff they've got. Not sure if it's safe or not. But the airlines, like I said, should give you up-to-date information. Big tall building up ahead, that's Horizon 101 condominium. They got two towers. I think one tower is 52 or 55 stories. Tallest building outside of Metro Manila, I believe, unless they build a taller one since I become aware of that. And this corner here is kind of the start. Kitty corner over there is the start of what they call Mango Square. And you used to have a lot of bars right there on that across the street. And maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I had heard that the mayor then didn't like the reputation it was getting because it'd get pretty crowded, especially later in the evening and weekends with the bars and the girls and all that sort of thing. And a lot of the bars even were open to the street, so you could sit there. And you had Marshall's there, an Irish bar, had really good music. You used to have a place there used to have easy listening, a little bit of country, a little bit of popular music. Anyway, now it is mostly fast food places. They've got a new up above. They've got a new Korean disco there, I think. Kangnam Bar, something like that. And went up there once, and they've remodeled it, and I think they said it was a Korean disco, pretty much. Got a number of fast food places over on this place, Chow Kang, Dim Sum, Dim Sum, and they've got a couple other back behind Mango Square area. They've got a couple of the other disco type places, and then back in this area, they've got a bar over to the right, Filipino-owned bar, I think. They used to have one up above. I think that's gone. A lot of these places were shut down by a former mayor several years ago, and or because of the lockdowns. Another question I get oftentimes is about the cost of living, about rental costs. For such and such amount of money, can I rent a nice place for this amount of money? And tourists and expats fall into about three different categories. Actually, more than three, but just for discussion here. In this area back here, I think it's called Mango One Mango. and they were going to demolish this and put a condominium up, is what I was told. But that project fell through apparently, and now they've got signs. There's a Frenchman has a little bit of a shop back in there selling, I think, Korean type foods, I think. And then you got Sunburst Hotel, which has really good chicken and chicken curries over there, and lots of signs because everybody moved out. They thought they were going to demolish it, and there are lots of signs. Commercial space for rent. Anyway, Horizon 101, the tall condominium there. So you have three different types of tourists and expats. Those who have plenty of money, and it's more important for them to find a place, a nice place, in a location that they want to live in. The cost isn't that big a deal. Then you have those in my group who are on a fixed income, a pension, and I make very, 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 very little with YouTube, um, as most people do. Google and YouTube revenue is way down, ad revenue as it is with many companies, and therefore the revenue that we get has gone down substantially as well. So it is not a way you want to get rich unless you got a great personality and a great market, something to say to the people that and they want to listen. But anyway, this middle group of people who, let's just say, anywhere from 50,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos a month in income. So about 1,000 U.S. to 2,000 U.S. I think average Social Security in the U.S. is probably about 1,600, something like that, U.S. dollars. Uh, some get a lot less, maybe $800. Some get a lot more than that. They've got a couple pensions, a work pension plus a military pension. The experts say you shouldn't spend more than about 35% of your net income, take home money, on rent and or housing payments. And the fact of the matter is, many places in the world, real estate has become so expensive, rent's so expensive that many people are spending over half of their income. You've got a 7-Eleven here, a Domino's, new Domino's pizza. They've got one over on Mactan Island as well. Not a lot of sitting in there, but mostly takeout. I've ordered that a couple times. So when the travel restrictions hit in March of 2020, millions of foreigners, Koreans, Westerners, Chinese, Japanese, went back home. And so you have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of units, apartments, hotel rooms, resort rooms, condominium rooms that have been vacant. And now that as they've started opening up the country more and more tourists are coming, especially during the high season of Christmas, the Christmas season, and Sinulog, big festival seasons such as Sinulog. Um, some of those units have been filled, but not nearly what it was like pre-pandemic. So there's still a lot of units out there. There's a lot of motivated renters, landlords that will negotiate, and I know some of my friends who have negotiated some pretty good deals. Got a new store across the way, Pure Gold. Now you have Pure Gold in some of the cities. I think Bacolod and Iloilo, other cities. It's a chain grocery store, and they might have other items as well. They have moved into the old Fuda store. Those of you who loved and were familiar with Fuda. Down this street, you got Cubana. Is I think 7 days a week they have some band playing. They serve various types of food as well, sitting outside. So if you're a little bit flexible where you're going to live and the accommodations and everything, you can find a pretty reasonably priced place here in Cebu City even. And if you're in the third group, the very, very tight budget, I would say 1,000 or under, uh, or even 1,200 and under, where you've got to really be careful. you just have to. Everybody has to stay in control of their finances. You got Bamboozer's bar here. I think they don't open till 7 o'clock at night, something like that. You got a couple girly bars, bikini bars over here. Across the street to the left, you have the Philly bar, and another one opening up, Nova X, I guess. Cebu City is not like Angeles City, where you have bar after bar after bar, like a walking street type area. They're spread out a little more here. Your best bet is, if you're on a really tight budget, is to live on the outskirts of a town, city, and you'll probably find better options, get more for your money. But at the same time, if you look around, you start walking the streets, find an area, talk to the locals, and a lot of the cheaper places are not listed online. And you just start inquiring, you might find a place that will fit the bill. A couple $100 a month, 300, 400. Used to be three bikini bars here. I think there's one now. It used to be called Viking. Now it's called what? Kakadu, something like that. And I don't know what. They're doing some remodeling some of these other places. Not sure what they're going to turn that into. Across the street, Iglesias, some kind of offshoot church. Not quite sure what that's about. They were on the news a lot when I first moved here in 2015. As far as other cost of living, electricity rates have gone up. My condo fees have gone from, although the landlord pays them, eventually I'll see them in an increase in rent, I'm sure. Gone from 62 pesos per square meter, then they went to 75, and I think February 1st or something, January 1st maybe, they went to 100 pesos per square meter, which I used to, many of you know that I've done a lot of videos of condos. Only the high-end condos would be that high. Bar across the way there, that is Howling Dog. Howling Dog used to be down at the other end of Mango Square, down on a side street. So condo dues have gone up. These places are trying to recoup expenses from damages from Typhoon Odette over a year ago still, and from a lack of people renting. They probably have people who have bought or rented who stopped renting. I know many places will have company-owned units as well that they rent out. Electricity rates here have gone up from about 12 and a half up to 13 and a half, and now they're 15 pesos per kilowatt hour, and that makes a difference. Water rates have gone up. Shopping for food, the best way to shop for food if you're trying to save money is to go to the local public markets. Generally get fresher food at much less cost. Another question I have, and it's a news item as well, is it safe? A few days ago I mentioned in a video that a New Zealander, young guy as a matter of fact, was held up in Makati, Manila area with his girlfriend, and he resisted, tried to disarm the guy or something, tried to move the gun away, and he was shot and killed. And that is my observation and experience, 7 years here in Cebu City, walking many places that I wouldn't recommend the average tourist to walk even at night, is I've been very lucky. I've had a few aggressive people asking for money, but I've never come close to being held up. And from reading the news is what I've heard, maybe twice a week, even 3 times in the last month. Elected officials or agency heads have been ambushed by, the story always goes, here's the fuel prices, anywhere from mid-60s to mid-70s for diesel. Most crime is Filipino on Filipino, and it might be political, it might be drug related, it might be personal grudges, some business deal. A lot of the payrolls here are cash, so somebody goes to the bank on payday, somebody Has to go to the bank, collect all that money, bring it back, pay the people. Uh, and this has been a rare occurrence too, but it's happened a few times since I've been here. Read about it anyway. The person who went to the bank gets gets ambushed and killed, and the money is gone. So my advice, and we talked about it in the comments and in other videos, is that take precautions. Carry a second wallet. Carry a throwaway wallet. A wallet with a little bit of money, maybe some expired IDs, credit cards, or something that are useless to anybody. Not IDs, obviously, but something to make it look legitimate, to give somebody enough that they're happy just to take it and run. Same thing with a phone. You might want to carry a cheap phone with you when you're out and about. At the very least, keep your valuables hidden. They've got a number of different security things under your clothes, under your shoulder, under your belt, your pants line. Number of different ways to carry things. Be aware of your surroundings and stay out of big crowds. Stay out of dark roads. When at night traveling alone, you might be targeted. Although I will confess I've walked many a dark road here, never had any issue. But I've been pretty lucky in 7 years, I guess. Couple times, many times, in fact, I've had Filipinos look out for me, sir. Couple times, sir, you shouldn't be in this area, and they have walked with me to get out of a particular area. I've also been told that some of the places that used to be higher crime, higher pickpocket type things, that those areas have been cleaned up over the past few administrations, mayors here in the town, and they've cleaned up a lot of that type of thing. And they've got more police presence, like down in Carbone Market, down in Cologne Street, perhaps. A lot of undercover people. In fact, a guy I met the other day, he said he was on a bus, and he was talking to a younger Filipino, and he was sitting in the back of the bus, and the guy opened up his wall, showed him he was a police. And I've been told by the tourist police that most of their arrests are undercover. So even though you don't see police a lot of places, doesn't mean they're not there. My advice: take the precautions, but also don't make enemies here. Because if you make enemies of somebody, you're you're an enemy to their family and friends as well. And the people that the foreigners end up getting killed either become a little belligerent, and they're macho and aren't going to back down from a little bit of an argument or something. Uh, just learn to walk away from that type of thing if you want to live. But at the same time, I want to reiterate that it is a very rare occurrence that foreigners get attacked here. Another question I get occasionally: what should I bring? And as far as clothes, if you've got big feet or you're a big person, you might want to bring your items from your own country. I'm a medium shirt in the USA, but I'm extra large here. Their sizes are different, and I wear a larger size pants here, just because they measure differently, I guess. Electronics for a phone: I bought a 2 SIM unlocked phone before I came here. Has to be unlocked because if you're tied in with a carrier, you're not going to be able to use it. You may or may not be able to find somebody here who can unlock your phone. And I did end up, I had insurance on a phone that I lost, end up getting a new phone sent to me, and it was locked, even though my previous one was unlocked. And I tried a couple places. They said, no, we can't unlock it. One guy even said, I can't do it. My software was unable to do it. But then, pop, it unlocked it. I did not have 100% functionality, but I had, but it worked pretty good. And anyway, so you can find phones here. My experience with electronics: I bought 2 laptops here, and a number of phones, and other even fans and blenders, and my my experience has been that I've had more trouble with items that I purchased in the Philippines. And I don't know why that is. Is it because of the higher humidity? Is it because of the lower quality of workmanship in some of these items? You know, the big box stores in America have such big buying power and around the world that they can demand certain quality. They even have quality control people in some of these factories in China, probably. Fixer upper there for you. Anyway, I had to buy 3 blenders, 3 or 4, because 2 or 3 of them just broke, and a friend of mine took it to work. There's always people can fix things here, so little silly things that broke, little plastic pieces that could use some washers and shim them up, do different things. They were able to repair it anyway. But keep in mind, this is not a 110 watt country, it's a 220 watt country. I know people who brought their American tools, and then they have to buy an expensive power converter, voltage converter, and that's kind of a pain. Now, virtually all your electronics these days will come with dual voltage charging units, so it doesn't matter if it's 110 or 220. That charging unit that you plug into the wall will handle either one. So that's not an issue with your phones, with your other electronic gadgets, many of them anyway. I'll do a separate video about things to bring, because I brought a number of things that I still haven't used 7 years later. One, a mosquito net, a huge mosquito net I've never taken out of the package. And I did bring a little bit of a solar panel with one that folds out, and I have used that a number of times when we've had blackouts. But there are a number of other things that we'll get into in a more in-depth video soon. Of course, you want to bring enough cash to survive for several months in case you can't get access to your cash. If you're going to be here that long, you want to bring your passport, obviously, with at least 6 months validity to it. A return or ongoing ticket within the first 30 days is required. A number of people have asked me about medicine. They've got certain special types of medicine that they take. Can I bring it with me? Can I buy it there? What does it cost? And you're just going to I'm not going to do the medical research, and I don't even know what most of these medicines are. I don't take any prescription medicines. There are some medicines that are more difficult to get because they can only be prescribed by certain doctors here. If you're carrying prescription medicine, you should have a copy of your prescription along with you. Go on the government websites and read the different blogs and about that kind of information. Just too much and too confusing. And I don't want to give out wrong information. My second trip here, I did bring quite a bit of vitamins, other nutrients that I take, and I was wondering if I would be questioned about that, and never was. Nobody ever asked me about it. Now I try to get most of my nutrients from food, and I will do a video soon about some of the things, the way I've changed my eating. About magnesium water. Have you ever heard of magnesium water? We're probably all deficient in magnesium unless we're drinking water from a well that is picking up the magnesium from rocks and earth. And these pills that we take, you absorb very little of that. So anyway, magnesium water is an interesting way to get your magnesium. A number of condominiums were in Cebu Business Park. They were singing coming down the street. I told them, sing louder so I can hear you. Anyway, a number of condominiums, corporate offices. Sugbo Mercado over there, they've got one in IT Park here, and one here, and I think 1 or 2 others as well. It's just basically a bunch of food stands where you can get quite an interesting variety of food. There are certain documents that you might want to bring with you. You might have to get some of them apostilled or certified through a proper agency or company before you come here, and I would just refer you to JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services. I've dealt with him, done a lot of interviews with him. There's a link in the first comment. First comment that I pinned, I've got a link to his website as well. Lucima New Condominium, I've done a video there, and in many other condominiums as well. If you want to get an idea of what they cost, what they rent for, what the size, the various sizes that are available. I've got over 1,000 videos, cost of living videos, travel videos, a lot of condominium videos. These when I came here, the real estate agents in the mall would grab me and say, "Come and look at my condominium," and I would take a video, put it up, and interestingly enough, there's a lot of people that were interested. In fact, if you do a search for a lot of condominiums here in Cebu City, especially, my video will show up as the first top of the list. We're coming up on Ayala Mall up ahead, Rustin's on the corner here, Rustin's Supermarket, Department Store. Got Park Place condominium there, very nice. I've done a video in there. The one center now is Elk Coves, high-end, very nice place. I've done a couple videos there. We're inside Ayala Mall. They often have events here, and they had some kind of a dog-related event here. I don't know if they were auctioning little yipping puppies off, or if they were giving them away or auctioning them off. Not sure. They've got the volume, these events. They always have the volume so high, so overmodulated that it can even be actually hard to understand what they're saying. They've got their microphone and the volume turned way up high. They're screaming into the microphone, trying to get everybody's attention. And you can hear them halfway across town. Anyway, another look at the 3-4 levels of part of Ayala Mall. In the end, they're expanding. Ayala Mall is expanding. They're adding new areas, new stores. They've got movie theaters in here. I think that this was this level. Coffee shops, restaurants, gadget stores, department stores, just about anything you'd want to find here. Although sometimes I can't find items I'm looking for. I've got to order them online, and take me a week or two to get them. There's a medical clinic down in the basement. I've been down there, gotten prescription antibiotics a couple times. A few dentists in the mall. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.